today is Mila Johansen. Her company is From Pen to Published, and she's going to talk about why you should have a book under your belt to help promote you. So, Mila, how did you get started doing books?
Oh, it's funny because when I was 8 years old, I saw Mary Poppins, one of the first movies ever, for me. And it dates me, of course. But I came home and I drew a chalk drawing and I tried to jump into it. I closed my eyes. I knew I'd be transported. And I wasn't. I tried several times and I still believe it, actually. And then I thought, well, okay, I can't jump into chalk drawing, so I'll write a book. Like I was reading Nancy Drew and the Bobbsey twins, and I wanted to write a book. So I started writing a book. And because I was 8, I wrote a page and a half and I quit. But I always wanted to be a writer from early on. And then when I got older, my mother tricked me into becoming a writer. She said, hey, write 1 sentence a day for a month. Well, you can't just write 1 sentence a day. It's like potato chips. So yeah. So I ended up writing a page or more a day, and by the end of the month, I was a writer. And then I've just always written. I've written 22 plays and musicals that circle the globe, and I wrote books, and I'm just keep writing books. And now I'm really working with other people. I've been teaching writing and publishing for decades in person, but now with COVID, I switched everything to online, which has been a big pivot for me, and taking a lot of classes, and I have a lot of mentors. I mentor a lot of people, and yeah, so I'm helping people all over the world right now finish their books and get them published.
Okay, so let's talk about what use is having written a book. What does that do for a business person?
Oh, for business and entrepreneurs, it's fantastic because your book can be your flag, and it can get you podcasts and lectures. And I've been speaking on 2 or 3 podcasts a week all over the world. And people get very excited because what I'm doing is I'm giving people permission to write the short book. The shortest book you can write and put on Amazon with a spine is 36 pages. And so anybody can write a 36-page book in a day or 2, and then get it published in a week or 2 and get it up. I would suggest getting an editor because we don't want more bad books. But anyway, so then, and the great thing is it can show your expertise, and it makes you the expert. And you can use it as a giveaway, which is a big thing right now in business, is to give away your PDF or your book. Editor, because we don't want more bad books. But anyway, so then, and the great thing is it can show your expertise, and it makes you the expert. And you can use it as a giveaway, which is a big thing right now in business, is to give away your PDF or your book, and or your ebook. Some people are just doing ebooks. And it's never been easier. It's like the Wild West out there. It's like you could go on Amazon and publish a book today. You could take some of your old blogs, put them into a 36-page book and publish it, and get it in your hands in a week, because they have to print it and it has to go through shipping. But there's a lot to it, but just let's simplify it and let's all write books and get them out.
Okay. Do you have advice about the structure of the book, or how to find a good title or any of that?
Then go on and look at their titles and see what they're like. And remember, you can have a title and then a subtitle. So if your title's a little more esoteric or imaginative, then your subtitle could be the explainer title, so that people know what the book's about. And then, of course, on the back of the book, you can put your description, which will also go into Amazon. And Amazon has tremendous attributes. There's even a place on there where I put a video of me talking about my book, From Cowgirl to Congress. This is a bigger book. This is a 300-page book. Most people shouldn't be writing longer than 300 pages if that's your big book, because of attention span. We're not doing Mishner anymore. We're not doing 500, 600-page books anymore. In fact, I'm coaching people to take their 500-page book and divide it into 2. So it's a little shorter book. But people are writing the 36-page book or the 98 page book. You can put your name and the name of the book on the spine. And then the comfortable, I wrote this other book about my dogs, a very avant-garde dog training book. And this book is a comfortable 125 pages. So you can kind of look at the page count on Amazon as well. It's a good place to do all of your research. And even if you're going to publish through Ingram Spark, which is how you can get into bookstores and libraries, you can still do all your work on Amazon and then get this gray mark means it's a sample. So you can get all your samples through Amazon. And the great thing about Amazon, the samples don't cost much, and you can give them to your beta readers, people to read them ahead of time and tell you what they think, maybe do some advanced editing.
Sure.
And so like, yeah. So this book here, the big one, the 300 page, that's only $4.35 plus shipping. This one's only $2.35.
Whoa, that's a bargain. The other thing, and this, tell me if this is still the case. When I did a DVD about women pilots, and it's called Wings of Their Own, I discovered that if you get the library journal to review it, that's how librarians know this is something that's available for purchase. And then I saw my documentary was in the black because it was carried by libraries and air museums all over the country. And getting the review in the library journal before I published was real important in terms of getting it in front of the people who would be most likely to buy it.
I love that. And, I didn't do that, and I'm not aware of that. I'm going to add it to my workbook. I have a workbook with all these things in it. And every time
there's two of them. There's the library journal, which is general. Then there's also the children's library journal.
Oh, I like that. Oh, thanks for telling me that.
And again, this is librarians coast to coast. They look through these catalogs. They look through the library journal to find out what's new, what's coming out, what's already been vetted essentially by the folks at the library journal. And that way distributors call you about, I saw you got this review. Can I give you a deal to distribute your book or your DVD or whatever it is? So that's how it worked for me. And yeah.
Oh, I know. I love that. And I love the name of your video. I think that would be a great name for a book, Wings of Their Own.
Yeah. Well, the tagline is from Kitty Hawk to Cape Canaveral, a few women have found wings of their own.
Oh, I love, that is, and it says what it is. So that's always good too. Because if you don't say what it is, then it's just another book that they're going to see, because most people aren't going to read the description, So, and also in your description, you need to put like the first 2 or 3 sentences, all your most important information, because that's all they'll read. It's kind of like Facebook posts,
Okay. Well, that's a nice thing too. You can take the cover and make it a post.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, I do. And it's great. And here's another thing I'm teaching everyone, Mary, which is really exciting, is to do modular books. Like, let's say I have my grandmother's book, the 300-page book. Right. Well, now I'm going to take her stories out. Definitely. In fact, I do. And it's great. And here's another thing I'm teaching everyone, Mary, which is really exciting, is to do modular books. Like, let's say I have my grandmother's book, the 300-page book. Right. Well, now I'm going to take her stories out, and I'm going to put all her stories of London in one book, a shorter book, and then all her stories in Washington, D.C. in another book, and then maybe the ones of how she grew up on from all this tragedy on a cattle ranch in another book, because there's some funny children's stories in that one too. Sure. So what a lot of people have, like some people have blogs. So I'm saying, well, take my friend, she has 500 very well written blogs. I said, take those blogs and make 5 books.
Way to go. Yeah. And the shorter, the better. I often tell people, when you do an hour interview, cut it into 10 6-minute ones or 10 5-minute ones, because there's so much B-roll. There's, pauses and things in between that you want to cut out anyway. And it's just as easy to use the trim function in QuickTime movies to edit things like this.
I like that idea. I love that idea, because in YouTube right now, the whole thing is 10 minutes, because that's about people's attention.
So tell me, Mila, when is your next workshop on how to write a 36-page book?
Oh yeah, we're gonna do. I do it like 4 times a year, and I've taught it like 8 times. It's really fun. And in fact, I've written my dog book in that class because it's called "Write Your Short Book in a Day," and it's going to be Saturday, June 19th from 10 a.m. to 3 Pacific time.
Okay.
And yeah, and it's great because people come in and some people end up writing their 36-page book that day. Most people say, well, I'm going to write a little longer. And one of my students, she's writing the 36-page book and she's going to use it as the outline for her longer book. So
That
it's
makes a lot
cool.
of sense. Make sure you send me that link so that I can put it into the comment section every time I post this video. And
Sure.
how much does that cost? How much is it for
Well,
the workshop?
it's sort of one of my freebie workshops. It's $27. So it's
Oh,
yeah.
that's very reasonable. All right, folks. So invest $27 in a fabulous way to learn how to write your short book. And because you've made an appointment with Mila Johansen, who's an expert at this, you will actually get it done. That's how accountability works, right?
And then if you take like what I did with this book, I wanted it to be 125 pages and it was like 98 pages. So what I did was I double spaced between paragraphs, if you can see that.
And throw in
And
some pictures. Yeah.
yeah. Well, oh, and these pictures I had an artist make them on Fiverr from my own dogs. And now when I walk my dogs, I can only see their cartoon. And the thing is, it was $5 a picture for him to do it. It would be 20 or 100 here in America. And I supported someone in another country. That was a lot of money to him.
Yeah.
And so, but then you can at the end of the book, I added tons of value, like a calendar of all the dog events coming up, like there's National Leash Day, National Lick Day, all these funny ones. And I so that filled out the book. And then it has tremendous value anyway, but I always put valuable things at the end, like for writers, my writing book, I put in writers conferences and writer terms,
great.
and writer shortcuts like MS for manuscript.
Right. All those abbreviations and jargon that when you're brand new in a field, you don't know yet. So yeah, that's the thing, is a lot of times people go into situations and they don't even know what questions to ask. So that's an important thing, to know what questions to ask. So thank you very much. We'll put all those links in the comments and hope to see everybody for, if you're stuck, it's time to improv in mid-June, because I'm taking 2 weeks off.